Okay, so I'm at Fireworks. Fireworks works very similar to Photoshop, but Photoshop is like taking the plane to the train to the boat to the motor. It's a great tool. It's a wonderful tool. I teach Photoshop. Photoshop's great for print production. Photoshop's great for color correcting, things like that. Photoshop's great for After Effects, which I teach. But for web tool, Fireworks is built from the ground up to be a web tool, and it's a perfect web tool. Works very similar to Photoshop. In fact, you can seamlessly open a PSD file right inside of Fireworks. So here's our objective here, okay? In previous videos, I've shared with you my technique for tracing image, bringing it as a flat file, and then build over on top of it. Now, this particular case here, to save some time here, I already pre-sliced this top section here, this sidebar here, this main content section here, this dessert section here, and the footer section. So I'm going to show you my time-tested technique of how to build div tags on top of these sliced images. The simple way. We're going to basically do little to no hand coding, but I'm just going to share with you my production techniques. Okay, so here we are in Dreamweaver, and I just want to bring in some basic images, all right? Images I pre-sliced inside of Fireworks. Now, these images could have been sliced in Photoshop, they could have been sliced in CorelDRAW, they could have been sliced in Illustrator, or even InDesign. You could have used InDesign for this too. So I just wanted to share with you a very powerful production technique. Here's how it works. We're going to go to the Insert menu, Insert Image. Now, the shortcut for that, if you want to get serious about the program, is Command-Option-I. Windows is Control-Alt-I. So here we go. So Command-Option-I. I'm going to navigate my way to the branding. Now, important step here. Naming things is very important. What you name your stuff will come back to help you. So in this particular case, I simply named my JPEGs, my PNG files, what they're going to be. So this is going to be the branding JPEG. This will be the dessert bar, PNG. This will be the footer PNG. This will be main content PNG. This will be site nav. So simple technique. I guarantee you haven't seen this technique before anyplace else. Simple technique. We're going to take our branding tag, we import it, and we're going to call it branding. Why? So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so a good habit to get into is titling things correctly. So branding, I hit the return key. Okay, here's my branding image. The computer's acting a little slow here, so there's my branding image. I'm just gonna hide this for a second. I'm gonna hit my right arrow key to the right. Hit the return key. I intentionally want to create a paragraph. Hit the return key, Command-Option-I, import image. So we're going to go branding, Control-Alt-I for Windows, or image, insert menu, insert image, whatever you think is simpler. You should get to know shortcut keys. So branding is going to be followed by this side bar. Choose that, and we're going to call that side bar. Okay, then we're going to return key. We're going to insert main content, and we're going to type in main content. Hit the return key. We're going to insert. We're going to insert dessert bar. D-E-S-S-E-R-T-A-R. I'm camel casing this so you can actually see that it's two words. Okay, hit the return key. Make sure your cursor to the right. If your cursor's not to the right, put your cursor to the right. Hit the return key and insert footer. Now, okay, if you looked at my previous videos, I'm a big fan of squeezing the sponge. Any shortcut, anything that's going to save time, I want to show you how to do it. Now, for those of you that are code phobia here, I typically stay away from code. I just want to share with you a very logical, simple technique here. Let's go to our code for a second. Now, Every image right now is inside of the P for paragraph tag, right? So right here, P for paragraph. I want to replace the paragraph tag with div tags. Well, how can I possibly do that? Well, the oldest trick in the book from 40 years ago, WordPerfect, search and replace, find change. What am I going to find change? I'm going to find this, P closing caret, P greater than symbol. I'm not going to search for this, because that's going to give me that. I'm going to search for this. I'm going to take that and hit find. Command F find, Control F find. We're going to find this, and what are we going to replace it with? You guessed it. We're going to replace P greater than symbol with div greater than symbol. How cool is that? How simple is that? My techniques work. You will not see these techniques anyplace else. I am a total master at this. Okay, so I'm going to replace all. So therefore, I have successfully put the images inside of div tags. Simple, 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 simple. Okay, now, once I delete the graphics, I'm going to have nothing. I want to have something, because if I have nothing, I can't see it. So what are we going to put there? So simple, simple, simple. We're going to double-click branding, double-click copy between the two, the greater than, less than symbol. This is the div's content. We're going to paste. That's the name of the tag. Branding tag. Double-click sidebar. Copy. Put your cursor right between the less than, greater than symbols. Paste. Double-click main content. Paste. Now, I know most of you that have done this for a while are going, that's genius. Well, guess what? It is genius, because I'm a fucking genius. Sorry to swear, but I am. I'm sorry. I've had enough of crazy, stupid techniques on the web. People teaching bad technique. I'm really, really fed up with the bad, horrible technique that's being shown on YouTube. So, sorry to use foul language here, but I get a little upset with people that don't get it. If you watch my videos and take it one step at a time, you'll learn techniques you will not learn anywhere else. Anywhere else. So we're going to copy, and paste. My apologies for those of you that are younger than 18. I shouldn't have said that word. My apologies. So double click, copy, and paste. Okay. Now, if you looked at my videos before, it's just like a pool player. If you shoot pool and you don't have a next shot, game over. So now we've accomplished two things. We put everything inside the div tags, separate div tags. We put some placeholder text inside of there. So if I go back to design mode and I hit save, make a change, save a change. Okay, now the fun part. So I'm going to keep this simple, 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 simple. Now, wherever we put our cursor, so I put my cursor here, okay? That's simply a div tag, right? Div tag doesn't have a name. It's simply called div. Well, what do we want to call div tag? Simple, simple, simple. We already typed the word branding, right? I'm going to double-click branding. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to physically select div, and I'm going to paste the ID name. Copy, paste. Simple, simple, simple. We're giving the div tags ID, just like we did in previous videos. But the images are going to help us to decide where they go and where they're placed and the height, etc., etc., etc. Okay? I'm going to select this div tag. Okay? We're going to come down here. This is sidebar. I'm going to double-click sidebar, copy. Make sure you physically select where it says div, and paste. Okay, down here, double click main content. I physically select div, and I say paste. Okay. Actually, I'll confess to you guys, I'm slightly upset for. I've had some very rude comments over the past 2 days, and I've had enough of it. I'm fed up with knuckleheads attacking me, thinking that they know, because I said Fireworks was the best web tool, and they basically told me I was an idiot and I didn't know what I was talking about, and Photoshop's the better program. Well, keep that to yourself. If that's true, then start your own YouTube channel. So I apologize about sounding upset, but when I get rude comments like that, I shouldn't let it bother me, but it did. So double click copy. I copy the name of the div. I physically select div, and I paste. I realize and respect the fact that there's a lot of ungrateful people out there, and I shouldn't let it bother me, but my apologies. Okay, double click footer. We got off track here. Double click footer, select the div tag, and paste. Okay, now here's the super fun, super cool part. Now, what I would suggest you do at this point, though, is I suggest that we put the asterisk tag here. We don't have the asterisk tag. We want to get rid of all the extra space in our site. So I'm going to select the CSS rule, make a new CSS rule, come down here to compound, and put in the asterisk tag. Now, if you look at the previous videos, that's going to set the padding and margin to 0. I just want to get rid of all the extra space in my site. So let's build our rules. We have div tags. Now we need to create rules for the div tag. So how do I possibly do this? Well, in order to affect the tag, I select the tag. Now pay close attention to this technique. This will totally amaze you. This will blow you out of the water. This will be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, actually, I didn't think sliced bread was all that great. I like buying the big Italian loaves and ripping it apart with my hands, but that's another story. Okay, so let's select this tag. Okay, now this is the IMG tag. So I just want to share with you what we're about to do. We're going to create a rule for the branding tag, but I don't want to select the branding tag. I want to physically select the IMG tag. Why? Because that's going to tell me the width and the height that I need to make my div tag. Brilliant. Absolute brilliant. We're going to select the IMG tag. We're going to come over here and create a rule. Now, the only thing we're going to do here is we're going to kill the IMG. We're not going to do an IMG tag. We're simply going to do a branding tag. But because we have IMG tag selected, we can, right down here in the bottom, we can see its width and we can see its height. How cool is that? Genius. Absolutely genius. I squeeze the sponge on the software. My techniques cannot be found anyplace else. I didn't make this stuff up. I just use the software to my benefit. Think Dreamweaver. Once you understand how the software thinks, it's child's play. So I hit OK. Okay. So what's the width and the height of this? Well, the width we're not going to concern ourselves with because the width is going to be the width of the wrapper tag. Wrapper tag we'll put in just a bit. But the height of this is going to be 75 pixels. How do I know that? Because it says it right there. That's the size of that graphic from the original file. That file could have been Fireworks or Photoshop or InDesign or Illustrator. That was the original size image, so that's its height right there. Brilliant. Okay, make a change, save a change. Okay, then I select the sidebar. So to effect, I select what sidebar's dimensions. They're right here. It's a no-brainer, guys. They're right there. I select the image tag. Okay, I click here, and I want to physically kill where it says image. You guys understanding that? Does that make sense to you? I don't want to create a rule for the IMG. I just want to create a rule for sidebar. Period. End of story. Now, sidebar is going to be a width of 399. We're going to type in 399. Now, to make it simple, guys, what we could have done inside the graphics program is we could have probably rounded that off to say 400 pixels. So if it helps you when slicing your graphics here to basically make them whole numbers, this way you have to get all cut up in like 399, etc., etc. The height of this is going to be 761, which we could have rounded off inside the graphic program to 760. Now, this, based on these choices here, important step here, okay, I need to float this to the left. Now, we're not going to do the padding right now. I just want to share with you the concept of getting this done. So I hit OK. Okay, then I come down here to my main content, and I select the tag. I select the tag. Again, I'm selecting IMG tag because I want to be able to see this information. If you select the main content, then that information disappears, which defeats my whole technique here. So I go here and I create a rule. I create a rule for that particular tag. And again, I kill the IMG. And I hit OK. So this is going to be what? This is going to be 866 by 507. And this is going to float to the left. Simple child's play. Absolute child's play. Okay? Then I go to the dessert bar menu. Make a change, save a change. Select the tag, select the image tag. Come over here, and I'm going to go to rule simply for dessert bar. Okay? Box category. What is this going to be? Well, according to this is 866 by 256. It's also going to flip to the left. Okay, then I put down here to my footer. Footer is going to be select the tag, make a rule, select the tag, make a rule. In order to affect the tag, guys, I need to select the tag. It's a simple process. Okay, so this is going to be, no, this one we're not going to split hairs out. We're just going to make this 95 pixels high. So let's go to box, and let's box, not to be confused with block, and let's make this 95 pixels high. Now, if you look at my previous videos, because I have floats on top of this, technically, officially, this needs to clear the floats that it's above, that it's below rather, that it's above, I'm sorry. The floats that are above main content, every float we've done so far, we need to clear that by saying clear left. Now, if we had a left float and right float, we would clear both. Okay? Now, the Feast of Resistance. Okay? I now want to put a wrapper around this. How do I possibly do that? I select the tag, select the body tag, and come up here to insert div tag. The div tag, of course, is going to be called wrapper, W-R-A-P-P-E-R. Hit the return key. Now, wrapper, how big is wrapper going to be? Wrapper is going to be the same width that this div tag was, that this graphic was. So if we select the graphic, we can see that the graphic was 12. It's not showing up here. Why is it not showing up? Sometimes the graphic is 1265. Now, I don't like to reinput the wheel here, so I'm just going to select the tag, come over here and make a rule for the selected tag. In order to affect the tag, we need to select the tag, etc., yada, yada, yada. Go to the box category of box. We're not going to give it a height. It's going to be self-adjusting to its height, and paste. Okay, copy, paste. Now, we also want to align this to the right, automatically to the right, automatically to the left, and I hit OK. So now, when I save the file, and now, when I go to Live View, I can see my page is put together here. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Let's zoom out of this for a second so we can see what we have here. Everything is set. Now, I want to do one final thing here because I want to have this to go back to just in case I need to. So, good habit to get into. Never work with your original file. So, this is index version 1. We're simply going to save it as index version 1B. Now, here's my technique for saving. I actually have a technique for that as well. I don't change the number unless it's a physically much different change. If it's an aesthetic change, like a color change or a size change, 1B, 1C, 1D. If, say as an example, a 2-column website becomes 3 columns, then it would physically change the number. 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's a subtle aesthetic changes. I would just do it to B, to C, to D. This way I know, because I juggle 5, 10 websites at a time, this way I know that it's a variation of 1. It's 1B. Okay? Now here's the super cool part. All I have to do now is select the image and delete. I'm not deleting the div tag, I'm just deleting the image. And I select the image and I delete. And it leaves me the names of my divs because we put those in here. Select the image, delete. Brilliant. Okay, select the image and delete. Select the image and delete. Now, if I want to physically see these, I'm just going to command minus and zoom out for a second. Okay, so if I go to live view, well, you're not seeing much, you're seeing a bunch of words. But if I go up here under my eyeball and I put my CSS layout background on, Dreamweaver is going to put a CSS background, and this doesn't print, this doesn't publish this way. If I go to live view as an example, it gets rid of the backgrounds. But in normal view, what this does for me, guys, it just shows me where my divisions are, where my divs are, where my HTML5 tags are. So it's a great technique. So benefit from this technique. Now the only thing I have to do here, I'm going to turn this off for a second. Command-I, Command-I, Macintosh Control-I, Windows. Now all I have to do is basically format this to match my graphic, to match my design. In fact, if you want to, now you can bring in a tracing image and your divs are already in place. Now you can just build your text or your graphics or whatever you want over on top of it. So it's a powerful, powerful, powerful technique. So if you guys are from the Photoshop world of slicing and dicing, great, good for you. I showed you the technique of how I can take my graphics, put them on the page. I just do graphic return, graphic return, graphic return. That creates the paragraph. I then just do a search and replace the search for P / and replace it with div, P greater than symbol, and replace it with div greater than symbol. That turns your paragraphs into a div tag. Now this technique assumes that you have no content on the page, because if you have other paragraphs, obviously I don't want to get rid of those. So subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends, follow me on Twitter. Everything's going to be in the description tag. I'm here to help you. You need to help me by supporting what I do, by following, by sharing, by telling, by swimming, by fishing, by canoeing. Just kidding about that. I was kidding about the canoeing part. So talk to you soon. Carpe diem.